Hey, ho, ho, everybody. Welcome to the Nosey Liberal. Sorry for the weird intro. I was caught with my pants down. Literally. I had to deal with a text message and last minute thing. And of course, the music came on and I wasn't ready. Performance issue there going on. Yeah, hi, how are you? We haven't been here for a week. I'm sorry. It wasn't meant to be. Things happen, and I wasn't able to do the show. It's not as if I didn't want to. Hi, Jim. In the chat room. By the way, we're monetized now, so if you want to send some love and to FY Nation, who really needs it right now. We really need the love. You can send us a super chat. You can let people know. You can subscribe. Get our numbers up. We need our numbers to be up. My biggest thing right now is promotion. Promote the YouTube channel. We can now get super chats and more monetization of the channel. And I have the whole thing. So each individual stream can be monetized. And we're going to work very hard to do a daily show and not let depression and things like that get in the way, because it is frustrating when things of that nature get in the way. It is for everybody. Like, we all have a bad day. I hear Madison Carthon has had a particularly bad week, and the heart pumps fist for him. And apparently there's no super chat button. I will look into that, because there should be. Let me take a look, see, because it said we can do super chats. Let me see what is going on while we do this live. Jim says no super chat button. I will check and see what is going on with that really quick, because see more supers. Let's see. Let's see. There should be an info button for that, but I don't see why there isn't. So we'll figure that out, and when we're not on air, why there isn't. But I don't even care about the super chat so much as I care about you guys coming in and watching on the YouTube stream. We got to build the YouTube. We do. It's important to build the YouTube. So I will look up and see why we are monetized now. It took a little while longer than I had hoped, because I made a mistake and I rushed, as I do, and I didn't do something right, and now I have it correct, and the super chat should work, but I don't know why it's not working, and that's, par for the course here. It says you can do it, so I don't know why it's not allowing to. But Jim, I'll take a look into that. But thank you for checking, because when I say something's working, it would be nice to know that it's actually working. But we have a great show today, and we're not gonna take too many shots at Mr. Walks a Lot, Madison Carthon. We're gonna take some shots at him. I know. I mean, if you just could just pray to Jesus hard enough and walk again. Sorry, I can't help myself. He's an asshole. So I have to like take him with a bat and just beat him a little bit more on the legs, because he reminds me of the character in The Sopranos who got ran over by the Richie Aprile character. And I can't remember this character's name. He ran a pizza place, and the Richie Aprile character ran him over because Richie Aprile was mad that he wouldn't step up and pay dues that Richie Aprile believed that this character owed him. So to get back at him, what he did was run him over with a car. And every time I see Madison Carthon, I think of that guy, because of the lies he tells about how he got injured and about how everything went down. So because he's a little thug. He's a little bully thug, like most Republicans that I know. They're little bully thugs, and if you're gonna deal with them, sometimes you just have to take a baseball bat and go after them. And look, it's not like I haven't tried. I have tried very hard. Tara Devlin can tell you, Jim can tell you in the chat. If you're listening on air, past shows. I was a Republican once. I have tried desperately to give the Republicans enough rope so they don't hang themselves. So maybe they'll tie it in knots and build a bridge to, past the medieval times that they live in. I'd say 21st century like Bill Clinton used to, but that's too much for them to be in the 21st century. So let's just get past the medieval Handmaid's Tale, as Tara Devlin calls it, times, and treat women and minorities with respect. But no, we can't have that. Instead, we have Lauren Boebert, and I want to talk to Tara about this, and hopefully we'll get a chance tonight when we're on the air. But I'm going to do it first, and we have some other stories that we'll get to in the Democrats. But this goes to the GUNSENSE story, because we're going to talk about the Blaze's coverage of the gun issue. And we're going to tie this into Lauren Boebert. I don't care what her name is. I don't think you should care either. She's an apocalyptic bitch. And she really bothers me. I don't know what to do with my hands. Have you noticed that with the show? I'm like the Swedish chef. Verty. And it drives me nuts, actually, so I can only imagine what it does with you if you're watching. But when we talk about Lauren Boebert, I want to say Breitbart all the time, but Lauren has some issues with the Democratic Party. And she was recorded by Patriot Takes talking about these issues. And this is what these people genuinely believe about us. This is how they rile up the base. This is how they get people to the polls. And like, she is demonstrating this behavior in public. So she's not ashamed of it. So when I say little leg action with a baseball bat to Madison Cawthorn, I'm not ashamed of that either. When it comes to her, she is not ashamed of calling the Democratic Party and people in the Democratic Party terrorists, which I can't think of a single one. But she seems to think the Democratic Party is filled with terrorists. And she seems to think that this is a big gaping hole of a problem. And Lauren Boebert is just showing her bitch side. Her resting bitch face, if you will. And she has some views on compromise that I want to get through to our friends in the Democratic Party that are more go along to get along. Joe Biden, I'm talking to you, Joe. Joe, this message is specifically for you, because these are the people who are trying to get you to have a really low approval rating, which we'll talk about later. But these are the people who don't want you to get reelected, Joe, Mr. President. So listen loudly and clearly when she barks at her audience.
So we need to be electing the right kind of people. I need fearless conservatives to serve alongside of me. I don't need people who will go along to get along, because there is no compromising with the left. I think we're all starting to see in every area we cannot negotiate with terrorists. Democrats are not wanting to give you an inch. They only want to take their miles. The negotiation process is over. We have to take a stand and say, no, our policies are the policies that actually work for people. I cannot point to a single policy that has been passed in the 117th Congress that says, you know, that's really benefiting the American people right now.
She can't point to a single policy that has passed. Oh, I got one. The COVID relief bill. You brainless tart. I got one right off the top of my head. The COVID relief bill helped the American people. Now, you may think that it's not going far enough in helping the American people. You may think it's going too far. But right off the top, there's a bill from the Congress that helped the American people. And by the way, there would be more people being helped by the Congress, specifically the Senate, if Joe Manchin wasn't cock-blocking everything the Democratic Party tried to put in place. And my message to you is this, and it's simple. I don't want people who are going to be played by the run-of-the-mill playbook that are just going to namby-pamby walk around and take Lauren Boebert's shit. I want strong Democratic people to go up against people like her and swat her down. I'm tired of this. We're terrorists? Are you fucking kidding me? You hyperbolic bitch. No, I'm sorry. This has got to stop. And the way you stop a child who is misbehaving is just slap them in the backside. And the Republican Party needs to be slapped in the backside. And the way to do that is to win in the election, in the general election. I want to see them cry like Madison Cawthorn. If they can do that to their own people in their own party, we should be able to do that quite easily to them. Because they're nothing. They know nothing, they say nothing, and their policies are as useful as a turd on a horse's ass. It is time that we decided what was important here. And it was time that we rose up and said, Lauren Boebert's bullshit has got to stop. Madison Cawthorn's bullshit of the far right has need to rise up, has got to stop. We need to put an end to the bullying and the bigotry and the bullshit. And we need to do it as quickly as possible. It shouldn't, and it's not hard. Show up and vote. Get a friend to come with you when you go vote. It's not a difficult process. It's not a hard thing to do. Just show up and do it. They don't want to work with us. They're telling us they don't want to work with us. The get along days of Joe Biden are over. So let's smack them in the head. And the way to do that is to win an election. We have the policies. We have the job creation. We have all this. These manufactured crises are things that the GOP have created and have made it worse. Now, Jim says we have mail-in voting here. And that's great. Not everybody does. But you also have Boebert. And I say again, to hell with her. When your child is having a temper tantrum, you go old school and you smack the damn child. I'm only saying what a Republican would do, by the way. I'm saying give them their own medicine. They don't want you to coddle. They don't want you to give you a second place trophy. They don't want any of that. They tell us all the time. There is no trophy for second place. They tell us that. No participation trophy. So, okay, let's take them at their word. There is no participation trophy. Just because the Republicans show up does not mean they get the microphone. Does not mean they get any power. And the way to stop them from controlling women's uteruses, from controlling what you can say in a classroom, controlling what you can read in a book, vote them out. We'll be right back. Really simple. It's not that hard.
I'm Rick Smith, and this is Labor History in 2. On this day in labor history, the year was 1938. That was the day unemployed workers began a sit-down strike at the post office in Vancouver, British Columbia. They had been organized by the communist-led Relief Project Workers Union during the Great Depression. In Canada, federally funded works projects had been administered at the provincial level. By late 1937, the Prime Minister began to cut funding. Unable to financially sustain the projects alone, Provincial Premier Thomas Patillo ended the works project for British Columbia. Masses of unemployed men thrown off their jobs, some driven to homelessness, organized occupations of the Hotel Georgia, the Vancouver Art Gallery, and the Maine Post Office to protest the cuts. While hotel owners paid protesters to leave, the occupation at the gallery and the post office lasted for weeks. Finally, on Father's Day, June 18th, gallery occupiers were driven out with tear gas. The post office strikers were met with much more violence. Royal Canadian Mounted Police led the assault with tear gas and forcibly dragging of sit-downers out of the building. Once evicted, they were met with the batons of local police. Organizers were singled out for especially severe beatings, and scores were hospitalized for their injuries. One striker, Arthur Redseth, had an eye knocked out, while his fellow sit-downer had his jaw broken for asking authorities to call an ambulance for his friend. Strike leader Steve Brodie suffered permanent eye damage as well. News of the terror spread throughout the city, and by mid-afternoon, 10 to 15,000 protesters gathered to express outrage at what became known as Bloody Sunday in Vancouver. Premier Patillo denounced the strikers as having received too much sympathy. He nonetheless used the debacle as an opportunity to get federal funds reinstated. Labor History in 2 brought to you by the Illinois Labor History Society and The Rick Smith Show.
Insight Daily Radio.
From food to fashion, science to tech talk, or for just plain fun, we've got you covered. From the art of all things, here's Lasana Jeffries.
We're told to drink lots of water, and we've also been told that we should be drinking water that's filtered and pure. Well, I hate to tell you, but many plastic water bottles contain chemicals called phthalates, which can leach into bottled water. Phthalates are known to disrupt testosterone and other hormones, which can lead to abnormal sexual development, male infertility, premature breast development, cancer, and miscarriages. The bottled water companies successfully opposed the FDA's proposal to regulate phthalates in the bottled water industry. Bottled water is often no healthier than tap water, but it can be 10,000 times more expensive, Approximately 25 to 45% of bottled water sold in the United States actually comes from municipal sources. Additionally, there are no requirements for bottled water to be tested for parasites or disinfectants. Bottled water companies are also not required to notify their customers if elevated levels of contaminants are found. The production of plastic water bottles in the U.S. alone creates 2.5 million tons of carbon dioxide, a key greenhouse gas responsible for global warming. To make a plastic bottle takes twice as much water as fits inside the bottle. And for many bottled water companies, choosing a location with access to large markets for their company is more important than the quality of water. Americans empty 2.5 million plastic water bottles an hour. Each one takes 500 million years to decompose. Is it just me, or is my garden hose looking better and better? Thanks for listening. I'm Lisana Jeffries.
Inside Daily Radio.
So everything.
Hello. Welcome back to the program. That was my mistake. I know. We're trying to be all professional, and here we have the oopsie, and it happens, and it is what it is. And it sucks sometimes. I'm trying to type something out. Gmail. And let's see here. Just bear with me as I deal with this. And accept something so we could do supers because there's always that. And so now we should have a super chat since I fixed it. I hate saying we can do things when we can't, but I have done it. So there is that. And I love the Ukraine question. And all that fun stuff with the amazing little system, and I apparently had some stuff. Well, Malik, that's fine, but it's kind of a non-question. You support the Ukrainian people and going to deal with their issue. You can also support. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's my answer. You can do both. And people like the Republican Party are the people who are not letting them do both. So there's my answer. You can do both. And there we go. So we can do super chats. We can do all this fun stuff with the YouTube. So the YouTube channel is the place to be. And the Democratic Party is getting assaulted by people like Lauren Boebert and people like Tucker Carlson and you didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Let's see. And I don't know why my profile, my video keeps looping in and out for some reason today, which is not good. I got to keep an eye on it so it doesn't do it. But thank you for the $2 test super chat. We know it works now. That's definitely a good thing. But what I really need instead of super chats is more participation. So we can get the word out about how the Democratic Party is getting assaulted from all angles. And it's really no wonder that the Democratic Party is having low approval ratings for their president, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's approval ratings, and I'm going to switch stories, but it goes into what we're going to talk about with the gun proposal. Joe Biden's approval ratings is hitting an all-time low. And I say that's the fault of the Republican bully machine, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden has not done anything to earn an all-time low approval rating. Joe Biden has been bullied and badgered and beaten up on a constant since this buffoon before him was thrown out. So when we have low approval ratings, I just see this as low information voters and people who just go by what people like Tucker Carlson say. And I almost said Rush Limbaugh, but he's dead. I aged myself. Say, and it helps people feel like the Jimmy Cartering. Joe Biden has not done nearly as wrong as they say. And I'm sorry, Joe Biden does not deserve his approval rating. Roughly 2 in 10 people who were polled in the U.S. say the U.S. is headed in the right direction or the economy is good. Both of these figures were down from roughly 3 in 10 from the AP Center poll in April. The drops were concentrated among Democrats, with only 33% saying the country is headed in the right direction. 16% point decrease from April. 73%, and we're not gonna take this break. 73% of the polled Democrats approved of Joe Biden's presidency, a major decrease from 2021 approval ratings. Well, that just goes to show you, when you beat on a guy and you punch him, like Malik is doing in the chat, in the Twitch stream, you got nothing nice to say about him. You keep beating him in the punt and hitting him and hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. And not doing, by the way, and I'm going to play this again for those who miss it, but not doing what people like Ted Lieu have done. This was a few weeks ago now, when the Maddox and Cawthorn story came out. And it is telling that Joe Biden has low approval ratings. And Joe Biden's numbers are down. It's not okay. It's not good. It sucks. And it's a disaster for Joe Biden. But it's not by anything that he has done. Let me repeat that again. Joe Biden's approval numbers are not by anything that he has done. Joe Biden's approval numbers are by design. It's the old adage. The media put you on a pedestal to tear you down from it. And the media put Joe Biden on a pedestal, and now the corporate media and everybody else are happy to take him down. And that's how the machine works. It's as simple as that, because you got people like Ted Lieu, let me get that clip, who are pointing out the obvious, and it's not getting publicized, and it's a good line, and it should be publicized, and more people should see it and hear it, and it's unfortunate that it's not seen and heard by more people, because this is how you deal with people like McCarthy and people like Cawthorn and a lot of them. You take them out to the woodshed and you make it hurt just a little. They're very happy to do that on us on a regular. So it would be nice if, for once, we had a president who didn't want to be everybody's friend. And that is the biggest problem with Joe Biden. And I don't seem to have the clip anymore. Joe Biden's biggest problem is that he wants to be everybody's friend. And here it is. Ted Lieu's GOV clip. I know I still had it. Here's the clip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. President Joe Biden has done an awesome job creating jobs. He is a jobs president. Last year, 6.6 million jobs were created. In the last 14 months, working with congressional Democrats, 7.4 million jobs were created, the most in United States history. Democrats are building a better America for the future and for the people. What are Republicans doing? I don't know. But last week, Republican Congressman Madison Cawthorn bragged about being invited to cocaine-fueled sex orgies by senior Republicans. Don't believe me? Search for Madison Cawthorn Republican Caucus on the internet. I yield back.
And you needed more of that. You needed more people like Ted Lieu to go out and bash the head in, or the legs, if you will, of the Republicans for Joe Biden. Joe Biden and more Democratic people, more Democratic soldiers, more Democratic pundits actually went out and told the American people about the progress, in spite of everything that the Republican Party is trying to do to the Democratic Party to keep them down, to Joe Biden to keep him down. In spite of all that, if you just take a minute and look at exactly what the Democratic Party has been able to accomplish. The infrastructure bill was a huge accomplishment. By the way, Ms. Bobart from earlier. Another thing that we were told, well, what have the Democratic Party done? We had a bipartisan infrastructure bill. Should it have been bigger? Absolutely. But it got done. We have that to celebrate. We have, oh my God, a president who brought us an infrastructure bill. We have a president who helped during the COVID crisis. We have a president who is marshaling people to help the Ukrainians fight a megalomaniac. We have all these things in action because of Joe Biden's leadership. And I shouldn't be the only one out there saying what a good guy Joe Biden is. Joe Biden should be doing it. You know, but instead, what do we get? We get, let's go Byron. I almost said, let's go Biden. We got, let's go Biden. We get malaise politics. We get Democrats are terrorists. We get, I don't know, a single Republican who helped the Buffalo shooter. They all just groomed him to death. But they continue to bash the President of the United States. So is it any wonder what the Republicans prophesied would come true when it comes to continually hitting a guy when they're down. Things that are not of this president's control. Now, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden. I'm a Bernie Sanders guy. But I'm smart enough to know that things that are not his fault, he shouldn't be blamed for. And if you're a rational person, you don't blame him. You know who's at fault. And you know that the Republican Party is the fault of these things. As Ted Lieu pointed out. Then what do they have? Except dissent and orgy talk. What are they getting illegal with? What do they have? Nothing. They're broken. And it should be looked at as being broken. But instead, somehow, these people are looked at as strong and these people are looked at as just powerful people who want to help. The Republicans don't want to help. They don't want to do anything. It's the Democratic Party, especially progressives of the Democratic Party, as Nasty Nettie points out, that are on the left, usually, like Bernie Sanders, again, Bernie guy, people who are on the left, and progressives who are on the left, who move Joe Biden to the point where he might actually absolve student debt for millions and trillions of dollars. That was a progressive Democratic policy. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. You don't like Bernie? Okay, you got Elizabeth Warren. And what is Joe Biden doing? Looking at the policy as a way for people to get out of the economic impact of student loan debt. And what are the Republicans doing? Right now on Twitter, Mitt Romney is tweeting about how he has a bill that will stop the President of the United States for helping students with student loan debt. They want to capitalize on your pain. They don't want to help you. They don't want to give you a hand up. They don't want to do any of that. No wonder the president has low approval numbers. Because he's continually getting bashed. And not enough people, including himself, are willing to stand up and say, wait a minute, what the fuck are you talking about? Not enough people are willing to take what momentum we had after we lost or won the election and Trump lost. I pulled a little George W. Bush there. After we won the election, now if you ask Mike Lindell, we stole the election. I mean, my God, if you're going to be accused of doing something, for Christ's sake, act like you did it. I feel like Marlon Brando in The Godfather, and I got Joe Biden by the neck. Remember the scene in The Godfather where he has his godson, the singer, I forget his name, but he was a singer and he was crying to God, I need this help, I need the movie to and the Godfather makes fun of him crying and he's like, act like a man. And he smacks him. And then he does the thing for the godson because he asked on the wedding day. Spoiler alert. But remember that scene? That's what I feel like with Joe Biden. Like what I want to do to him. And every Democratic person. Act like a man. I know it's not PC to say anymore. And I'm non-binary. So, I mean, Look at me. My non-binary ass saying to you, a Democratic person, act like a man. I mean, the reason I've been so depressed this past week is because the Republicans are doing it. You know, this is obnoxious that we have the Republican Party just knocking themselves out. And we could be taking such advantage of it, of them eating their own. And I know we have our own primaries and elections now. And I know we have our primaries. But I think we could walk and chew gum at the same time. And I think we can do much better. And it's, you know, that's what it is. Well, I love the torch. I kiss the balls of Biden. Fuck you. And, you know, that's not the point of this. Clearly, you're just a troll if you didn't hear what I fucking said. That's fine. That's fair enough. I mean, Twitch is the same platform where the Buffalo shooter streamed his bullshit as he murdered, allegedly, a bunch of people. So, whatever. But we live in a society where Joe Biden can have these low approval ratings at 39%, right up to the midterms. And you could have these low approval ratings, and you could have these low approval ratings, and basically still say shit like what Mark Levin says about replacement theory. I mean, this is an oldie but a goodie. I mean, you would think they wouldn't be saying this shit on Fox News because they'd be trying to back away from it. But this was just last night on Fox News. Oh, by the way, you called me a bitch all day. I love it, dude. Love it. But here's Mark Levin.
Why is the southern border open? Why is it open like this? What is their purpose? Obviously, to import as many Democrats as they possibly can. That might backfire on them, but that's what they're doing. Why are they spending?
So, again, replacement theory. And again, this I'm not going to say the word. I really want to. This reject is willing to go after people that just want to be American. They don't want to be Democrat. They don't want to be white. They just want to be American. I didn't know that was something that we should be frowning upon. And again, you would think the day before the first burial of the Buffalo shooter victim, of one of the first victims, you would think that Mark Levin would have some common decency and not trash talk while using critical or replacement race theory. There's so many bullshit theories. It's hard to keep track. So there's like that. So, oh Lord. it's disheartening. And it's annoying. And I kind of like Twitch. A lot like Twitch. So there's good. And what I don't understand is people who don't like you are still watching. If you have a problem, go away. It's really that simple. You don't need to be here. And in fact, yeah, you don't need to. Goodbye. It's that simple. Grow the fuck up. Or take my advice from earlier when we were talking about the show Godfather. Be a man. And I love in the chat they can't figure out what sex I am. In 2022, it really shouldn't matter. You could just go with bitch, frankly. I welcome that. It's really that simple. Just like I'm cool with the low disapproval rating. So there's that. But moving right along into the viper's nest that is what we were originally going to talk about. The Democratic Party, again, trying to do the work for the American people that should be done, is the Republican Party is happy to cockblock what should be done. And it's old. But it's not surprising. It's exactly what a 3-year-old would do, which is act a fool when you don't get your way. And post a negative about a positive. This is literally what that is. This is posting a negative about a positive. And dun, dun, dun. 3 Senate Democrats reintroduce gun control bill that would require people to get a federal firearm license to produce a gun. Oh no. Oh no. A trio of Democratic senators have reintroduced legislation that would require people to get a federal license in order to buy or receive a gun. What a great fucking idea. Make it nationalized. What a great idea. Want a gun? Nationalize it. But Second Amendment, gun owners would have to jump through several hoops seeking a license, including a written test, hands-on testing, and a background investigation and criminal history check. Oh my God! Oh my God. They would actually have to do things. They would actually have to understand how to use a gun, have a proper background to use a gun, and not be a criminal. And supply a proof of identity. 1, 2, 3, 4 things that you have to do in this bill, you have to do to get a bank account in the United States. Four things. Background investigation. They do a background with your credit check. Criminal history check. They usually run your that too, at least with a job when it goes for the banking, and proof of identity. So 3 of the 5 things. So my count was off. Math is hard. I'm like George W. that way. Are you kidding me? This is the issue. Is it because you have to do testing? Is it the testing? Are you that hard up that you, as a gun owner, as an American, proud American, you're afraid you might fail the test? Is that what it is? I would think they would want to show us libs. The exception would be, and I don't think this should be a thing, but if the state has a similar licensing program, then don't have to worry about it. But if it doesn't, you do have to worry about it. Cory Booker, Bob Menendez, and Richard Blumenthal are pushing for the federal firearm licensing act. Failed in 2019, but here it is again. And again, this is good. This is good Democratic policy. And it is good information to have that the right wing is so freaked out about. Because remember, the shooter, he wasn't racist. He was, his problem was that he was crazy. He was just crazy, if you ask Tucker Carlson.
So they're continuing to tell you, in the face of all available evidence, that the mass murder you saw over the weekend in Buffalo was inspired by hateful right-wing rhetoric, when in fact that mass murder was committed by someone with diagnosed mental illness that the adults around him apparently ignored. Okay? So you saw a shooting by a crazy person that has been hijacked by partisan forces to crush political dissent, to attack civil liberties in this country. You should care about that. Nicholas G. So
yeah, it's all designed. We CS Democrats, we're crafty like that. We designed it to attack your civil liberties. We designed it to go after what you desire most: God, gays, and guns. That it was, dare I say, the gay agenda 2.0. We saw an opportunity in a tragedy. And we decided, as a Democratic Party, we decided that we would go and deal with it as the Democratic Party. And we would take away your guns. Because that's what we want to do, right? We want to take away your guns, Tucker. We want to take away your civil liberties. I'm sorry, you want what? Hands-on testing? Oh my God! A background and criminal history check? Oh my God! A proof of identity? My liberties are being taken away as I speak. We can't have any of that. You talk about grooming that's going on. Pretty sure this guy was groomed to be a white supremacist, alleged gunman terrorist. Pretty sure. And I think the same guy who groomed him is the same guy who got, or wanted to get, Hunter Biden to get his kid in college. And I think that, frankly, it is kind of troubling that these basic things that we're talking about. Hands-on testing, a background investigation, a criminal history check, and a proof of identity. These are basic, fundamental things that you have to have for most everyday tasks. This is like going to get a job. I gotta do hands-on testing when I go in for an interview. I gotta get a criminal history check. I got a background check, and I better have my social security and proof of identification. Oh my God, you have to do the same things, or should have to do the same things that you do in a job application. For fuck's sake. That's taking away your freedom? Dude, stop spamming my chat. I mean, seriously. In fact, we're gonna, I'm done with Twitch. Twitch is a damn cesspool. I'm is done with Twitch. We're logging in. We're gonna take care of this Twitch issue right now, right here. So I've had enough of this bullshit. Yeah, I don't need meaningless blathering idiots in 2760922. I get enough of that from the likes of Tucker Carlson. I don't need that to add that to my discussion when I'm trying to have a chat here. So let's go into Twitch. Oh, shut up. Go into Twitch and let's go into the channel. And let's see. Magic of the internet here. And we'll be right back for the next hour. Stay with us while I fix this.
Insight Daily Radio.
From food to fashion, science to tech talk, or for just plain fun, we've got you covered. From the art of all things, here's Lasana Jeffries.
We're told to drink lots of water, and we've also been told that we should be drinking water that's filtered and pure. Well, I hate to tell you, but many plastic water bottles contain chemicals called phthalates, which can leach into bottled water. Phthalates are known to disrupt testosterone and other hormones, which can lead to abnormal sexual development, male infertility, premature breast development, cancer, and miscarriages. The bottled water companies successfully opposed the FDA's proposal to regulate phthalates in the bottled water industry. Bottled water is often no healthier than tap water, but it can be 10,000 times more expensive. Approximately 25 to 45% of bottled water sold in the United States actually comes from municipal sources. Additionally, there are no requirements for bottled water to be tested for parasites or disinfectants. Bottled water companies are also not required to notify their customers if elevated levels of contaminants are found. The production of plastic water bottles in the U.S. alone creates 2.5 million tons of carbon dioxide, a key greenhouse gas responsible for global warming. To make a plastic bottle takes twice as much water as fits inside the bottle. And for many bottled water companies, choosing a location with access to large markets for their company is more important than the quality of water. Americans empty 2.5 million plastic water bottles an hour. Each one takes 500 million years to decompose. Is it just me, or is my garden hose looking better and better? Thanks for listening. I'm Lasana Jeffries.
Inside Daily Radio.
I'm Dr. Anthony Lizowitz, and this is Climate Connections. Across much of rural America, electricity is provided by member-owned utility co-ops. They tend to be small, often serving just a few thousand customers.
Electric co-ops are in the heartland of America, making communities work where you may not have ready access to everything you get in a big city.
Jill Clyburn is president of Clyburn and Associates, a New Mexico-based consultancy. Her group has been working to help rural utility co-ops use more solar energy and battery storage. She says rural utility co-ops often lack the capacity and knowledge needed to start new projects.
They have boards of directors, which are very capable people in the community, but they come from a variety of backgrounds. So they may not be engineers. They may be somebody from the school district, somebody from a private business.
So her team has been creating online resources that introduce rural co-ops to how the clean energy industry works and guide them through the initial steps of planning and purchasing. She says rural America's wide open spaces are ideal for generating wind and solar electricity. So she wants to make sure rural communities benefit from the transition to clean energy. Climate Connections is produced by the Yale Center for Environmental Communication. To hear more stories like this, visit climateconnections.org.
Hello. Welcome back to the program. I'm all for free speech. I like people to have a conversation. In fact, I welcome people coming into the show and having a conversation. The line is drawn when it's crazy bullshit and spamming the channel. So I'm going to block you. It's really that simple. And it's a beautiful tool. And so I haven't had to use it in the YouTube, but Twitch apparently, yeah. So it is what it is, and I am over it, and it helps me concentrate a little better when I don't have Nimrods in the channel screwing things up. I can find out things to do with my hands that are waving around like a palm tree in the wind. So we were talking what things you need to do with these things. A written test, a hands-on testing, a background investigation, a criminal history check, and proof of identity. Sounds very much like getting a job to me. And to hear conservatives talk, Richard Blumenthal and Cory Booker want to take away your guns. They should be, if you were really conservative, if you really believed in pro-life things, if you really believed in the sanctity of life, if you really believed in everyday people being able to deal with things on an everyday level, you would, I don't know, perhaps, just thinking about it, you would be okay with this. But instead, because we want legislation that will be good for people to be able to have, we are terrorists. And we should not be worked with to go along to get along. Ask Lauren Boebert. And look, I'm going to button this. This is driving me nuts. Nobody needs to see that much skin on me. The things that make me crazy. You got to understand here. We're dealing with a party that wants you dead. They don't want you alive. They want you to meet Jesus. And not like the Jesus of the Bible who was, I don't know, loving and nurturing and kind. They want you to meet Jesus that is going to hand you a bucket of cash at the end of the rainbow. Sounds more like a leprechaun than Jesus, if you ask me. They want you to embrace a gospel that hates on women, hates on minorities, is able to believe that people coming to embrace freedom are here to vote Democratic? And not for nothing. What does it say about your ideas, Republicans, that they don't want to vote for you? What does it say about your Republican ideals that immigrants coming here would rather vote Democratic? Maybe it's your policies that suck. Maybe there's nothing to gain by being a Republican. Unless you're white enough and rich enough. And by God, white Jesus loves me. Then I guess then things will work out. Right? You're white enough and Christian enough. Jesus will love you. I just... They're doing the right thing. And this is looked at as if it's an enemy of the Republic. Andrew Wilkow said it would literally be an infringement. Oh my God. You're taking away my gun rights. I need to hold my ammo in my palm. And I need to be able to have my AR-15 right by my bedside to be able to sleep. Are you kidding me? Can we, like, I don't know, maybe, just perhaps, think of this logically and reasonably, and see how many people we would save. Think of the babies! Oh, wait. You only think of the fetuses. Got it. My mistake. My bad. You only think of the fetuses. The babies be damned. Fuck the babies. I'm sorry. I went on the wrong highway. So, yeah, the basic things that you need to get a job, the Republicans object to federalize getting a gun. Because it's an infringement. You're infringing on my rights. My rights are infringed upon. Yeehaw! Oh my God, these whiny bitches. Is it any wonder that Joe Biden has a 39% approval rating when you get people like Andrew Wilkow trying to tell me that basic things to get a job is an infringement on the right to carry an AR-15 around the Taco Bell. For the love of Christ. Alright, one last story, then we're going to head out of here. You know, a little early. Well, a little late. We're going to be on Tara Devlin's show tonight, so we're going to get ready for that. We're going to stream it here with Tara, and That way maybe some people from Tara's wonderful channel will come and subscribe over to my channel, and we could gain some more followers that way. And just go from there. So check me out tonight. I didn't think I was going to do a show today anyway, so I'm kind of happy that we're here. Let's talk about the My Pillow mastermind. Crackhead under your bed. And I'm not talking about Hunter Biden now. We're talking about Mike Lindell. Yes. Mike Lindell. Unfortunately, unlike our friend Jeff Waldorf, we do not have a pretty little song to go with a thing for Mike Lindell. And that's okay. It just is what it is. So a judge and by the way, a Trump judge, activist Trump judge, ordered Mike Lindell to pay some of voting machine companies Smartmatic's court costs and fees, saying in a ruling on Thursday that some of Lindell's claims against Smartmatic fall on the frivolous side of the line. Imagine that! A claim from a right winger on the frivolous side? Sounds like the last story we're talking about. Infringing on my rights! Oh! Sounds like Pat trying to take a dump. I mean, Jesus. In particular, the court concludes that the very least Lindell's claim against Smartmatic under the support or advocacy clause falls on the frivolous side of the line. As a result, the court orders Lindell and his previous counsel to pay some of the fees and costs Smartmatic has incurred defending itself and moving for sanctions. Nichols also granted motion from Smartmatic, Dominion, and Hamilton Place to dismiss the lawsuits against them. And Lindell just dismissed it all, as you do when you're a crack addict. Former crack addict. Don't want to get sued. Frivolous lawsuits that we're talking about. Whatever the judge thinks, that's his opinion. No, it's law, dude. It's law. I've got lawyers doing more important things like removing these machines from every state. Oh my God. He's got to be on that pipe 24/7, man. He told the news outlet that he would make a decision over whether he would appeal the ruling later. You got to check his bank account. Translation. This comes as Smartmatic sued Lindell. And he faces a lawsuit from Dominion. I almost said domination. It is kind of like being dominated, isn't it, though, folks? It's like he's being dominated by capitalistic companies. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing when companies kind of just dominate the little guy. In My Pillow, Mike Lindell's case, anyway. Anybody else's case, we're rooting for the little guy, but this case, yeah, fuck him. I find it funny and sad all around that this guy still has any kind of media gravitas. So there's that. it's like, look, Mike Lindell is a seller of the big lie as much as he sells prosperity Jesus, right? It's all the same grift. It's just different packaging. And the more we own up to that, the more we face that, the better off we'll be. It's sad, but it's true. Let's go to one more clip. One more clip, then we'll head out of here. And I want to thank everybody. I did the whole hour, even with the trolls. And hopefully, when we come back on Monday, no trolls. Just some ordinary folks like you and me on the chat. And going from there. So let's see. All right. Actually, I'm not going to be able to do that. I lied. I'm going to hell. We'll be back tomorrow. I got to deal with something, but we'll be back. You have a great day. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. See you tonight on Tara Devlin. I got to deal with why my phone was ringing earlier. I'll talk to you in a bit.